So I'm going to be looking into my camera right now, and then I have to look away because the only place I can mount this camera is not at my main monitor here. It's like off to the side looking at me. It's silly. It's weird. It is what it is. So right here, I've got the GitHub page for I have a 3D printing cost of goods calculator, kind of a price calculator for determining basically profit margin and stuff on online print, you know, in-store prints too, whatever. Basically, I used to keep this as an Excel sheet that kept on getting messier over time, and I've redone it a few times. But basically, you know, I'd have the normal stuff, print time, filament, you know, if what I think shipping's going to cost and all that. And I'd pull off some constants here from another table, but then I ended up having to add another tab over time. It got convoluted, so I just fed it to an LLM. I said make a like HTML or just like a, you know, a form you can fill out essentially. Uh, I'm not that great with GitHub, so I have it on GitHub for all the people that are. That's great. It's a little confusing to me since I don't use it much. I know it's not that hard or anything. For anybody who's like me, I'm going to have this CodePen IO site that'll just have a static link you can go to use it. You can also just download the file. Like I said, it's a very simple HTML file. You just download it. You can just run it locally on whatever browser you have. That's what I'll be doing here. So right here. Oh, whoops. Just click. Okay. So should have been dark mode. Sorry about that. You guys can, you know, feed it to a Gemini or whatever and do that. So I'm going to have it spit out. I have all my calculations at the bottom here. So if you want to know what is PPH, which I have, technically it's like a third P, it's like PPPH, but I just call it PPH. It's a concept, you know, not my own concept, obviously pulled from some other YouTuber, I think 3D Print Bros or whatever. But it's the like profit per print hour. So when your printer's going, how much profit your printer is making per hour. It's not the only thing to price your print with, but I think it's useful, and I think it's good to know. You know, you're like, oh, that's good. I'll make, I don't know, $5, $10 on this part, and you go, oh, yeah, but I guess I wasn't really thinking about the time, and I'm actually, you know, let's say it's a 50-hour print, and you're only making that much. You go, well, I actually don't really like that because it's inconveniencing, you know, me for too long of a time for such a low profit amount or something, right? It's whatever. You'll see. This I just have to spit out for like Excel or Sheets if you want to add them all for reference information later. You won't need all this, but it's just, this is for me mostly. Because I made this for me, but obviously I'm just going to share it because I think it's useful. And you can edit all of the fields. So basically you can kind of figure out what you want. We're going to go over this, this wolf head. Keck Creations is the designer, so I always do that. Keck, the wolf head. You don't have to name it, but it's going to tab out here at the bottom for tracking for later. So I have a default to PLA being about 20 grams a kilo, you know, standard price. You can just edit it here. I have some presets to where it's like, you know, a little cheaper PLA. A lot of the silks sometimes are slightly more expensive, usually not 25, but it doesn't matter. All these prices don't really matter because you can edit them. You can actually enter custom and it'll prompt you to enter the custom, or you can just overwrite what I have here. So if you get PLA for $10 a spool and you want to run your calculations like that, do that. All right, but we'll assume 20, right, is what I'm paying. So I know this takes 300 grams of filament and 12 hours of print time, basically. That's what I, you know, use. For the most part, we're going to use this. You're going to start in the top left, you know, go down, go to the next one, go down, and kind of reference the next. You don't have to fill out every field. My electricity cost per kilowatt hour is like 18.5, so I just round up to 19. Obviously, you're not churning through a ton of electricity with printers usually, unless you're printing, you know, ABS or whatever, or, you know, stuff that has like a 100C bed, whatever. But this is just for, you know, tracking stuff. Printer wattage, I think is a little high. I think this is like a P1S. Technically, I think it's like, you know, I don't know, 105 to 135. But then if you incorporate it, it uses more energy at startup or whatever. You know, again, these are details that don't matter a ton because they're going to change for your printer, and you also don't have to enter them. You know, you could just zero these out if you wanted, right? Like just like that. Same with printer amortization. I think this is setting it at like 1,000 for like a P1S combo over 2 years, running it for like 12 hours a day or something, and it gives me 15 cents an hour. You could just not calculate this because that's high. That's not actually how you'd probably calculate it. It's just kind of the stand-in I have. And keep in mind, it's not going to be a giant margin for error because it's 15 cents an hour, unless you're, you know, say 12. So it's like, you know, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not mathing, but you know, a couple bucks. So. Other monthly overhead costs. So this one's a little weird. It kind of included this automatically, and I thought it was reasonable to keep. So I don't use this very often, but let's say you're, you know, buying something off Patreon or Thangs or whatever commercial license, and you know you move units. Like you, in this case, I just wrote $30 for 30 a month or whatever, because then that's basically $1 per print cost. Like over here, look at your total cost of goods. I'll get to it when I get to it, but let's just say costs you $30 a month, and then you sell 30 of them. Functionally, that's $1 a sale, right? But you don't have to add these. I usually don't, if I'm being honest, but it's reasonable. If there are other costs, like other material costs you want to add in, like say you, I don't know, you sell command strips with it, or you have some screws or something, and you want to tag in that 50 cents or $1 they cost you, or whatever, then this will just get, linearly added in. So right there. Oh, and then if you scroll down, so like I said, this is mostly kind of for me for tracking, because I'm still going to keep an Excel sheet just so I can kind of reference some stuff, but figured why not? We have the data, so why not? So this is basically all the calculations I have, kind of in like, plain English. Not that they're complex calculations, but so you can see, when I think of material costs, what I'm doing is this amount, right? Which maybe you calculate some of these things differently, and then you can just go into the code and edit it to factor however you want, or whatever the case is. But this is how I'm calculating. So if you ever want to know what something is, like PPH is profit per print hour, so technically it's a third P. That's a mouthful. I think it's from like, a lot of people calculate it, but I saw it on like 3D Print Bros video, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a good thing to consider, just so you're not, let's say you're like, oh, this is nice, I make $20 on this print, but you go, oh, yeah, I wasn't really thinking, though, it's like a 30-hour print, that kind of inconveniences me for a longer amount. Let's say you're only making like, 25 cents a print hour or something, and you're like, you know what, maybe I should be looking for a higher amount, even though the actual profit is a lot or something, right? That's how you'd use that calculation. The specifics don't matter a ton. I have defaulting to free shipping here. These are just obviously presets, because shipping is going to be kind of variable based on how far it's going. But again, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to pick a preset that's kind of close, and then you can just edit the shipping cost. Like if you ship a bunch of these, yeah, this product cost me about $5.60 to ship, or $7.50, right? I just went with a lot of small stuff's $5. So be it. So marketplace fee type is useful because, you're going to have to basically pay a fee on any of the e-commerce platforms, and then you can add in your others here. So for Etsy, obviously IRL, you're not. I mean, you have taxes to consider, which I guess I should have included taxes here. Most of my stuff's through the normal e-commerce stuff where they automatically take taxes, so I don't deal with it. I don't calculate it manually since I don't ever see it or hold it. But that's a thing to consider here, which you could just do custom, just type taxes here if you want. But anyways, what you want to do here is, this is for no ads Etsy, so this is your base, the processing fee, and then whatever else Etsy takes. So I have ads here, which I'm not including your cost per click Etsy ads, I don't know, 25 cent, whatever, 25 to 50% bidding calculation. That's not what this is. This is if they buy via offsite ads. I think this is at the higher amount, because once you hit 10K revenue on Etsy in a year, they make you do offsite ads even if you don't want to. And I believe this is the amount that you pay for offsite ads if they make you. Because once you pass the 10K amount, you pay a little less. But I think this is the amount. I'm not totally sure. I should know that, but I don't. So the 21.5, that's what it is. Basically, it's additive. I think that's correct. If it's not correct, it's only off by like 0.5% or something. So again, you can edit all these. Doesn't really matter. So this print, basically, now this price inputs, the top one is the one you're probably going to play with the most. This is the most standard one. So right now we're looking at total cost of goods sale on the right. So I'm saying it cost me $17.44. It should actually be medium shipping on this one. So $19.94, right? And then it'll tell you you're going to pay this much in shipping cost. If you sell it for $20, you're going to pay this much on your marketplace fee. If it's Etsy on ads, or if you want to go to TikTok shop, obviously it's going to be less. But I'm going to do Etsy ads because I know that one. So right here, we're not making much profit at all, right? And so you can play around with this. Like you go, oh, what if I charge $30, right? And then you go, oh, okay, well, this is your profit, okay? And then I also have it tell you your profit margin and percentage if you want that, or your profit per print hour. And then I like to shoot for 1 on this. I think that's a good rule of thumb for profit per print hour. So you can keep playing with this, because you might just know also, hey, people aren't going to pay more than $30 for whatever this product is, for whatever reason. You go, similar products sell at that price. I'm not going to get $50 because I'm not going to distinguish it in any way, so you're going to keep it at 30. That's fine. But if you're doing this to determine initial pricing, you go, maybe that's a little low. So I would be playing with this until I get to 1 profit per print hour, $1 profit per print hour. But instead, what you can do is I have it tell you down here. So suggested prices. So triple base, cost of goods sale, and then I have shipping and fees added afterwards, not calculated. This is arbitrary. It's not one I use all that much, but that's just if you were to take your cost of goods sold, multiply it by 3. So this is showing you your 2209, but it's not tripling these two, because the whole thing is I'm like, for the most part, I'm passing through shipping and marketplace. I'm not trying to charge, multiplication. I'm not trying to mark up those, right? I'm just saying I know I'll have to pay these, so they're incorporated in the cost of the goods of the item. So basically, it's taking material costs, electricity, all this, right? This is the thing. It's multiplying by 3, cost of goods sold, excluding shipping and fees. So in this case, that's $22, 2209, and then it's adding in these. You can do that. I don't think that's bad because I think that's like a standard like commerce margin or whatever they go. Well, you take your cost of goods, you multiply it by 3 or whatever, and that's how you get it. So that's why I have that there. It's because that's something I've heard as common wisdom, but I don't reference it a lot personally. I like Target right here. Target $1 per print hour, like I said. I think that's good. I tell you the amount that you would charge in order to do that. You can verify this, unless my math is wrong and it's circular logic failing itself. It's like, so now we know on the right, cool, great, dollar per print hour. Maybe you want 2. So you don't have to use this final sale price here or this one. So let's say you go, I want to make you go, this gets me $12 in profit. You go, okay, that's pretty good. You go, I don't want $12. I want $15 profit. Okay, so take this and go to 15. Now the one flaw is I don't have this update on the right here, but you can see target MSRP for that dollar profit per sale. So it'd be 39.03. So if you want to, you're gonna have to manually enter this in here. Kind of inelegant, but then it'll tell you, we're getting $1.25 profit per print hour. Okay, that's pretty good. Obviously, you have a higher profit margin. Let's say you don't want to calculate it that way. Let's say you go, I want $2 of profit per print hour. So we'll go 2 here, and then this MSRP will update. Oh, sorry, the one under. So 50/50. So you go, okay, I have to charge $50.50, assuming my math is correctly. And then that's how you would get $2 per print hour. And then these are all your breakdowns. So you can go, okay, I'm making $24 a unit on this one. My profit margin is 47.53%. Okay, that's good. And then the final way would be if you want, for some reason, to target the margin percentage. Like in this case, we're pretty close to 50, so we're not going to get that different an answer. But let's say you go, I want to make 75% profit margin on every print. I don't care what the number is in absolute terms. I don't care about the profit per print hour. I just care about margin. Okay, I'm just gonna interrupt with a quick side note. So I've been messing around with the percentages here. You'll see. When you put target margin very high, it gets wonky. It does work correctly at lower margin. I think I just didn't quite understand how high of a percentage it would be. There's some sort of like asymptotic diminishing return or whatever once you break like kind of 60%. But it does seem to work, but you'll see I'm kind of astonished here because it's a weird number. But like for example, this is silly, but I'll just, say you only want a target margin of 25%. The number here is reasonable. Once you knock it to 75, it's huge. 50, it's decent. 60, like 60, it kind of breaks. 65, it gets crazy. But anyways, you'll see. I'm about to pause for a second. Okay, type 75 here. Is that true? All right, let's see. That one might be wrong. Yeah, okay, well, let's find out. Doing it live. Yeah, no, okay, that's profit margin of 75%. Okay, I'm just gonna assume that's right. I'm gonna have to check after I post the video, I guess. But I don't think that one's particularly useful. So that might be wrong. But anyways, let's just say we're charging $35.91, I think, or something close, right? What is it, $35.21? Okay, so I'm gonna stick at that $1 per profit per print hour. Sorry, it's a mouthful. So here's the part where you go, I know in the future I'm going to sell this at a discount at some point. Say you do like a 20% off for Black Friday or whatever, and you go, I don't want to be blindsided with this product. Like this one would be fine because you're getting $1 profit per print hour and you're making $12. So we're essentially going to cut off, whatever that is coming off your profit. Obviously, you're going to pay slightly less in fees, but you go, I want to factor that into the price. So what if I put this at a 25% discount? So you go. So I know if I'm putting this at a 25% discount at this rate of $35.21, I am now only going to make $5.09 per unit. My profit margin is going to be 19.27%, and then my profit per hour is going to be 42 cents an hour instead of $1 an hour. And so then you can use this to reassess. Like maybe you go, okay, maybe I want my base price to be 40 bucks actually, so that when I put this on a 25% sale, I'm still making, in this case, $7.91 or 66 cents per print hour. But you don't really have to use this. This is kind of like extra. I think it is reasonable. You could add an additional overhead somewhere else too. But I think this is a simple enough way to do it. Yeah, this is basically how I price most of my stuff. You're not going to be able to make whatever the arbitrary amounts are. Like, one dollar profit per print hour. You can't do that with every print, probably. I mean, maybe you can, right? You can just take better product photos, offer or more unique selling proposition, or whatever, right? You can do something that other people aren't. But this way, you kind of know what you're making and what your inputs are at all times. But yeah, this is what I use, so I figured I would share it. Sorry, I'm rambling so much in the video, but like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz.